So while I work for ANZ in a central site in Melbourne, I actually grew up in Townsville in North Queensland. So no stranger to fires, floods, cyclones, unfortunately. My mum was a Suncorp staff member for many, many years. So I know, growing up, I knew how important it was that local branches are to the community. So now I work in a retail distribution within the broker network, helping brokers and customers meet their goals with ANZ, whether it's their first home, their next home, or building investment, building their future through investment. Proud of the work that I do to help customers achieve these goals, which is part of our purpose as a bank. It's expressly stated in our values. It's something that we're all very proud of, and something particularly the retail broker distribution is very excited about leading into the future. However, fellow staff and I are deeply dismayed to learn that ANZ is the biggest financier of fossil fuels and fossil fuel expansion since the Paris Agreement. Our bank says, this is internal comms, the most important role we can play in the transition to net zero is to support our customers through reduced emissions. But it doesn't seem like our actions are matching this commitment to the level that we would expect. Undoubtedly, ANZ has a huge role to play in financing the energy transition away from fossil fuels. If our coal, oil and gas clients need financial support to diversify into clean renewable energy, then ANZ should absolutely be backing them to do so. The reality is so many of our clients are not transitioning away from fossil fuels, but are indeed expanding these activities. A question whether we are helping our fossil fuel clients reduce their emissions when some of them haven't yet made commitments to walk away from new and expanded coal, oil and gas projects they propose to build. While we lend to or arrange finance for companies developing new and expanded fossil fuels, they continue to reach final investment decisions on projects that are completely incompatible with a 1.5C world. I'm worried that we're not helping our customers transition, but enabling them to expand by not properly assessing the climate risks involved in financing certain companies. The climate crisis is urgent, and the bank should be acting like it is by refusing to finance companies with no intention of transitioning away from fossil fuels. We urgently need to transition away from fossil fuels to clean, renewable energy. The bank needs to draw a line in the sand to show genuine climate leadership. ANZ employees were not consulted about this latest climate policy, and we haven't been given a chance to have any input on the bank's fossil fuel lending policy would look like. I ask that the ANZ commits to involving workers when developing its climate policies in the future. Will you commit to consulting, listening to and engaging with staff when it comes to fossil fuel lending?
Thank you, and can I just clarify a few things? One is, as I pointed out, we are committed to our financing of energy customers being consistent with a reduction in emissions over time. Secondly, oil and gas represents less than 0.5% of our lending today. We've reduced it by 30% since 2020. We'll have reduced it by 40% by 2025. So there's actually quite active work by the bank to be responsible in this space. We always listen to staff, and I think we'll continue to engage. Shane?
Sure. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate that we consult with staff on every single... We have loads of policies and things that we have to do and make decisions every day. But as you know, as a member of staff, you know, me and my team are pretty transparent and available. We have all sorts of big calls where staff can ask questions, put their thoughts up, and we take all of that very seriously. So in the board, I think we are listening to our staff. And I just want to say, to reinforce what the chairman's saying, we are totally committed to net zero. All we're talking about here is that there's a disagreement about the path and the way to get there. That's what we're debating, and that's a healthy debate. We are absolutely committed to net zero. And it absolutely influences the decisions that we make every single day. Who we bank, what we bank, where we will lend, where we will not lend, who we'll deal with, how we behave. It impacts all of those things every single day. And if it's, you know, it may be not the most important thing that we're doing, it's certainly one of the most important things that we're doing as a company. And I can assure you that my team and I spend a huge amount of time working this through to make sure that what we're doing is responsible and balanced and meeting the needs of all of the stakeholders, including local communities, but also making sure that we are enabling a just transition towards net zero as quickly as we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your questions.
Appreciate the commitment, Shane. Thank you.